Good morning, Genesis. My name is Christine S. Young. I'll be your practitioner this morning, and I'm so excited to see all your beautiful faces. So I'd like to start by asking you to please stand and join us in singing our opening song, All Is Well.
In the spirit of celebration, we're grateful, we're grateful. In the brilliance of life's perfection, we're grateful, we're grateful for the blessings already given. In the goodness of God we're living, in the finished kingdom of heaven, and all is well. All is well. All is well. In the spirit of celebration, we're grateful, we're grateful. In the brilliance of life's perfection, we're grateful, we're grateful for the blessings already given. In the goodness of God we're living, in the finished kingdom of heaven, and all is well. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is
Thank you so much for leading us in song, Becca. I love that song you wrote. It's so fun to do every week. So I'm so glad you are all here and chose to spend your morning with us. I introduced myself already, Christine S. Young. I'm a spiritual practitioner here at Genesis. We have an online host in the back, which is Eric. So I encourage you to say hello and create that online community in the comments on Facebook. And now I'd like to invite you to read with us our mission and vision statements. We are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place of comfort and peace where all are welcome and accepted. And our vision: Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all. A home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. I hope you see that experience, see that brilliance as you celebrate with us today. So we have some announcements. So we have name tags available at the welcome table in the back. I need to grab mine and put it on. We're still looking for greeters, so if you are available or interested, please see Cynthia at the welcome table. We're grateful to have received a generous stock donation, and if you feel inspired to contribute to it, you can visit genesis.csl/donate/here to support this continued growth. We're looking for community members who can give rides on Sundays. Right now, we know of 3 people looking for a ride. So if you're open to helping or if you need a ride yourself, please sign up at the welcome table. We have 2 new classes this fall. Karen L. Williams is a spiritual practitioner here at Genesis, and she will be teaching Journey of the Soul starting Tuesday, September 30th through November 4th. And those are all going to be on Tuesdays. Through Journey of Self-Discovery and Personal Growth, students will unlock their true potential, cultivating soul presence, and align their lives with their highest purpose. With a focus on practical application, emotional healing, and daily meditation. This course empowers students to engage in the transformative journey of self-realization and spiritual evolution. Registration is open right now. You can go to our website, genesis.org/education, or you can also sign up at our welcome table. We are also offering Spiritual Principles and Practices, which is a foundational course in our teaching. It is one of the first classes that you want to take before you begin taking all the other awesome deeper dive classes. This 5-week class is starting Wednesday, October 1st. Learn practical, proven tools to help you align with universal principles and manifest your intentions. We're offering this at 2 different class times, and you can see those times on our website on the registration page at genesiscsl.org on the registration page. The tuition, if you register before September 21st, is $195 or is $165, and then after that, it's $195. Both of these classes are offered on Zoom, so you can commute from any quiet, sacred place you want to make for yourself. Come build tiny homes with sound foundations, Sunday, September 21st from 2 to 6 p.m. Sign up is at the welcome table. So you can come to Genesis in the morning, have some lunch, and then everybody's heading over there. We'll be there at 2 o'clock, and that's September 21st for building tiny homes. We have a Genesis visioning opportunity to vision for our beautiful community on the first Thursday of every month. So that is coming right up on the 4th of September. You can look for the Zoom address in your emails, and if you're not sure if you're going to get one of those or not, you can connect with Dave Pennick, who is here in the service today, to make sure that you will receive those. We have a book study that meets after the service, and we will be meeting today. We are reading 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity by Edwin Gaines. If you don't have a book, no problem. These guys are great at sharing. It's not something you have to attend from the beginning to the end. You can even pop in just once, and the wisdom and the conversation that comes from those book studies is profound and will surely bless you wherever you're at, whatever you're up to. So if you are able to do that today in person, please do. So those are our announcements. And now that so next we want to welcome our first-time guests. If we have any first-time guests here this morning visiting, we would love to recognize you. If anyone would like to wave or introduce themselves. Otherwise, if you are here for the first time, we have a time now where we're going to greet one another. We love to hug. If you prefer to shake hands, we know the sign for that, and a contactless option, a namaste greeting is great as well. So I invite you to please stand and greet one another this morning. What a joyful time, greeting everyone in their beautiful smiles and getting hugs. Love that. So next, I'd like to thank everyone that's here in service this morning. For those of you online, we are a church in a box, which means we come in and set up everything before service. And then when service is done, we tear everything down and put it back in the vehicle that stores it. So I just want to say thank you to all of those that were here that set up before service. And I also want to give a special shout out to our morning greeter, Dave, our projector operator, and video operators, which are Michael and Eric, Gideon for collecting our offering today, Jim Monson for doing our sound technician, Eric for being our online host. I want to thank Rose Studer for holding High Watch, holding that consciousness, that space for our service today in the back of the room. And I want to thank Becca Palm for being here as our beautiful, talented, inspiring musician this morning. So now as we move into the next component of our service, we're going to do some centering and some meditation. So to get that started, I'd like to invite you to just find a centered space and sing our centering song, Breathe and Turn Within.
I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. Open up my heart and feel God's presence. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's
So let us just breathe in that space and just stay in that space that we've set of just being centered and being present. As we hear these words from our reading this morning, I'm reading to you from The One Life We're Given by Mark Nepo. This section is titled, The Bones of Grace. We enter the sanctity of our being in the simplest moments, while playing with animals and watching birds fly, or standing in the dark, awash with the shimmer of the moon, or watching a loved one wake into their truth. These uncluttered openings are the bare bones of grace. We could name grace as the unnameable presence that lives under all we do or aspire to. The word grace comes from the Latin meaning thankful. Gratitude opens us to grace. Thankfulness lets in the energies of life that surround us. When humbled into the open, often against our will, our bones can rattle like wind chimes, making beautiful and haunting music, though it aches to do so. It takes a deep kind of effort to live what is ours to live while staying open to the mysterious forces that surround us. As the Buddhist teacher Ahan Cha says, proper effort is not the effort to make something particular happen. It is the effort to be aware and awake to each moment. Grace is what wears down the face we show to the world until leaning into what we're given without a mask is the work of the soul. In time, we're destined to lose some of what is dear to us, which is only tragic if we forget that the dearness lives in us. Beyond our lifelong dance with loss, it's wondrous that we should litter the world with the things we hold dear. This is one way that we make the world dear. And for our shouting, we land in silence. For all our barking about God and truth, we settle, if blessed, into living simply just being true, the way a mountain is true. Love works this way, slowly. So then he tells us a story I want to share with you. And he talks about wandering through a monastery, wondering, how did they build this monastery so high in the cliffs when he was visiting Santa Maria de Maserate? He noticed that the place that they'd built this monastery was an impossible place. How would you get your resources up there? And so when he was up there and he noticed where the huts were first built, he found telling cracks in the stone. They'd been slowly widened by hand into rough troughs that would steer and collect rainwater. The early monks lived off what the heavens provided through the cracks they had worked so hard to widen. Love works this way, slowly widening our ability to care so we can receive water from the heavens. The widening of our cracks is relentless work, but collecting water from the heavens is how we receive grace. I was surprised to see wildflowers growing so high up in the cracks of these stones. Do they survive being so exposed because they're low to the ground, because they're grounded? Can we survive being so exposed by being as fierce and fragile as a mountain wildflower? When grounded and bare, we can do small things with love and add light to the world. Given time, care turns into light, which helps all things grow. Care turning into light is the photosynthesis of grace. When we finally step toward another to clean her cut or soothe his mind, we break the illusion that we're different by living out our care, and light moves between us. Caring for anything lessens our loneliness. There's a rhythm to grace as we move through the years. In the first half of life, we're called to take things in. In the second half of life, we're called to empty out. Over time, we're shaped like an inlet, receiving and letting go as the tide of life softens us, being emptied of everything. But our care doesn't create certainty, but it lets us feel at peace with all that remains unknown. Please join me in prayer. So I just recognize in this time, in this space, in this place, that there is but one life, that life we sometimes call God, Spirit, the universe. But we recognize that one life as love. And we recognize that one love is ever unfolding. We recognize that one love is ever available. We recognize that that love is available to each and every one of us in the measure that we are willing to receive, experience, and dance with it. So this morning, I just give my sacred yes to being available to dance with that one love. I give my sacred yes to being available to be caring and in a space of service to life itself in its highest purpose, and that is simply to share, to witness, to love one another, to love myself, to love my surroundings, to love the environment, to love the members of my community, my family, my planet. This is an invitation for each of us to give our sacred yes to life and to dance with love and to practice dancing with love, that we may each wear open that crevice through which we receive and channel that experience of care, that we may fully give ourselves to it. So knowing this intention and the purpose this morning is made easy, is made graceful by life's simple support of saying yes, not by efforting or trying, but just simply saying yes. And I know we are supported by that great grace, and we allow ourselves to incorporate our dance and our practice to exude grace. So for all of this, I'm just deeply grateful. I'm grateful for the grace that love is. I'm grateful for my opportunity to dance in that grace and to practice love and to be fulfilled and supported in my every moment, in my every breath, in my every deed. So with deep gratitude, I just release this word under the law, knowing it is done in this very moment, and so it is. Please help me welcome back our guest artist, Becca Palm.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Join me if you like. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
It is today. It's Recognition Sunday. And we have, yes, for the course, Karen Williams taught. And I'm going to invite the students for that course, Gideon Kelly, Eric Jacobs, Lorianne Bradbury, and myself up. And Karen, do you want to join us as our illustrious teacher? There you go.
Since you're one of the students. Hi.
Do you want the microphone? Grab the one on the podium.
So, that's great. This is for Gideon, which was his last class as a prerequisite to get into practitioner training, which he is entering. Woo! Lorianne and Reverend James and Eric Jacobs. Thank you, guys. It was a fantastic class.
Yeah, it was, it was a great class. It was wonderful to have such an opportunity to get to know Ralph Waldo Emerson, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Thomas Troward, each of whom contributed a strong pillar to the tripod of the science of mind, all extremely influential on Ernest Holmes. It's also, we're coming up to, it's Labor Day weekend. We're in the middle of Labor Day weekend, and thank you for coming here on Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend it's an interesting holiday because it was very purposeful at first. You know, in the 1800s, workers were working 70-hour weeks routinely, 7 days a week, and didn't have much recognition. And the labor movement got together and first celebrated Labor Day in 1882 in New York City when they were pushing for a 60-hour work week, still 7 days a week. And then they started pushing for only a 6-day work week, 60 hours, but at least you got a day off. It was in 1926 that Henry Ford did the experiment in a time of when he wanted more labor, of doing a 40-hour, 5-day work week. And it worked out well enough that in October 1940, it became the law of the land in the United States that a 40-hour work week was the norm, and beyond that, you have to pay overtime, except if you characterize the workers in particular other ways, in which case, forget it. But at least for many people, 40 hours become a line in the sand that we can do, you know, thanks to Labor Day. On Labor Day, we celebrate love. We celebrate the labor that people do for us. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "Every thought of love is work well done. Every thought of love is work well done." So when you see, I don't think I need to have that limited to 40 hours a week. I'm happy to do that 24/7. Every thought of love is work well done. And so when you think about the work people do to support you, people at the grocery store, people at restaurants, people maintaining the roads, think of, you know, the thoughts of love that they are manifesting to make our world a better place. So this week we're talking about I am grounded in love that knows no condition. Let's say this together a couple of times. I am grounded in love that knows no condition. I am grounded in love that knows no condition. So we've been talking about love all of August, and it's the last Sunday of August. We're sort of accumulating what we've done. And I really want to think about cause and effect, love and law, and the awareness of suffering. Starting with awareness of suffering. If you don't, it's really easy to just try to bat away the suffering. Pretend that it isn't happening, either in yourself or in other people. With other people, you can turn your eyes away. Even in yourself, you can say, no, that's not the real me. You know, I'm really sort of on this plane. But by recognizing that there actually is suffering going on, even though it's not your true self, even though it's, you know, a false self that's, you know, bringing the suffering into being or making it worse, by recognizing that, we can do something about it. This is where cause and effect comes in handy. We can say, what's the effect? The effect is suffering. What's the cause? How can I address the cause? And love and law is where we move into it. And let's have the cone. What we find so Ernest Holmes talks a lot about love and law. And law is the idea that thoughts held in mind repeat after their kind. So if you have I know Ernest Holmes didn't say that, but it expresses the feeling in a rhyming format. If you have thoughts of apathy, guilt, and shame, then you will manifest, you'll create negativity in their world because it's hard not to. And the higher up you go, the more positive the thoughts are. And sort of love, you can see, is way up here. That's why we like to move into love as we make plans for things. Move into love as we move into our creativity. And this also talks about, we have the contracted down is all the negative, and then it expands as we go up. And that's the power. That's the power of the thought, the power of the creativity. And it makes more sense. It makes sense that an idea with love is an idea that's going to incorporate everybody in the world into that idea. And so it's going to have more power. It's going to be able to pick up other people. An example I have is favelas. How many people know about favelas in Brazil? Some, okay. Well, I was going to tell you anyway. So favela has two meanings. One is it's a plant like a dandelion that grows everywhere in Brazil. And what favelas are is they're sort of shanty towns growing outside big cities in Brazil. In fact, there are 17 million people in Brazil who live in these kind of shanty towns that are often surrounded by garbage and sewage and don't have electricity or a lot of municipal services. So Brazil has 212 million people, but 17 million of them live in these favelas. That's more than the population of Washington and Oregon combined. So everybody in Washington and Oregon combined living in this kind of situation. Maria Dolor Silva grew up in a village in Brazil and moved to Sao Paulo, a 12 million person city, the biggest city in Brazil, but she couldn't afford to live in the regular part, so she moved into a favela. And she worked at a garden center, at a flower shop, to grow flowers and sell flowers to people. The government tried to shut down her favela because no building codes, lots of garbage. They just thought people should not have to live in these situations. But the people in the favela fought back, saying, we have to live somewhere. This is better than nowhere. And the government was like, okay for now. But what Maria did was she looked at it. She said, well, we don't have to live surrounded by garbage. Why don't we have beautiful plants around us? And so at a community meeting, she got 200 people to go and clear out all the garbage that surrounded the favela. And they started planting food crops. And they planted food all around. They only had 6 people working on the garden the first year, but they did a pretty good job of planting the crops. And then when the crops grew, more people were excited and more people got interested. One of the things they did right away was they figured out a way to get the garbage out of the favela. The reason the garbage was all over the place is they didn't have garbage service. So what they did was they found where the garbage trucks could go, and they got wheelie bins so they could wheel their garbage out and have the garbage picked up, so they didn't have to be surrounded by garbage. They convinced the city to give them electricity. They actually built a library at one point, and they did it using mostly recycled materials, scrap materials. They repurposed into a library, and then they got people to donate their books so people could learn in the library. After the library, they decided to build a kitchen. And the kitchen was for communal cooking, and it was also for cooking classes, because they were growing special foods, plants that grew very well in the environment of the favela. It didn't take much room. You could grow it in a window garden. You could grow it, next to the soccer field. You could grow it anywhere. And so two of the foods that they mentioned particularly is lamb's ear, which is something that grows around here, but it turns out the fuzzy lamb's ear, if you cook it right, is completely delicious. And I know I haven't harvested my lamb's ear yet, but I will give you a report when I do. I'm sure it's completely delicious. And other one was, sweet potato leaves. So everybody knows to eat the sweet potatoes. Apparently the leaves are delicious too, and something that they can cook in Brazil. Some of the people use the kitchen to start up a business of selling hot foods that are grown at the favela to people around Sao Paulo. They brought in electricity. The government was willing to give them building materials so they could improve their housing. It still doesn't meet code, and actually when you read articles about them, the government officials are like, we don't really want people living in these places that aren't up to code, but at least they're improving. Every year they make another improvement in their favela to make it safer, to make it nicer to live in, and really what's going on is they're working with community. Maria de Lord Silva, who actually now, she's been called Lia Esperanza, which is Portuguese for hope. So she speaks not just at her favela, but at favelas all over Brazil. There's an organization. They won the Milton Santos Prize for Social Development, and they refer to what they're doing as food sovereignty, where because they can grow food where they are, that means they aren't at the effect of grocery prices. They're not in a food desert anymore because they've got their own food they're growing. And they're encouraging other favelas around Brazil to grow more food and to create libraries and to work for themselves. So how does this work? You know, they recognized that there was suffering. There was a problem. They wanted to get rid of their homes. And having garbage strewn around your home is not something anybody wants. And so recognizing that, they used the law and love and the law. So what did she love? She loved plants, she loved growing things, and she wanted to share her love of growing things with her community. And the community was willing to go for it. They were willing to help her pick up all the garbage and get rid of that kind of suffering. And then there was space where the garbage used to be for growing plants. And then more and more people got into gardening the plant. Now there are dozens of people who help maintain the garden, not just the 6 who started off. And it's manifesting in other favelas around Brazil. If you look at the whole worldwide favela situation, how many people are living in shanty towns? It turns out there are about 1 billion people living in shanty towns and these kinds of organizations. So the fact that people can use love, people can use their consciousness and people can use their intelligence to make these favelas into places that are safer and more loving. It's bringing community in. Once they brought community in, they managed to harvest the ideas of all the inhabitants. This is what we do. This is one reason why I like the Hope Factory, the tiny homes place that we volunteer at to help build the tiny homes, is they take people who are living on the street, really in sort of a lack of community, because if you go away from your tent, somebody might steal all your possessions. And then they move them into a tiny home community where they get to move up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where they get all their basic needs met, and then they have a whole community to help give them the resources to find jobs, find stable jobs that pay them well enough that they can afford to move into their own house and have a different community. But it's community that really helps build it, using, Ernest Holmes' love pushing the law. So you can see gardening's way up there. I went to SOAR in the first week of August. I, along with hundreds of my new CSL friends from around Canada and the US, went to SOAR, a conference where a bunch of CSL people got together to sing and learn and connect with one another. And there's a talk by Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, who is the spiritual director of Seaside Center for Spiritual Living in Encinitas, California. And he talked about a woman named Shay who was, she was interested in, well, basically she got sick. So she started off with a suffering. She noticed she was hypothyroid, so her thyroid wasn't working, so she didn't have any energy. And her thyroid was actually beginning to attack different parts of her body. It was attacking her heart, and so this wasn't so good. And she did a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation, a chakra meditation, which I will lead you through a bunch of times a day to heal her thyroid. And she worked and worked on the meditation, doing it a bunch of times a day, and yet her thyroid kept getting worse and worse and worse. And finally she said, she made a deal with God. She said, God, I'm willing to have the surgeons cut out this thyroid, but only if you'll grow me a new one. And according to her, God said, okay. So she went and she had an operation, and they took out the thyroid and put her on thyroid pills. But after a while, the thyroid pills weren't really working right. She was sort of jittery all the time. And what they found was that the dose was too high. And so they cut down the dose of pills. And that worked for a little while. But then after a few weeks, she was getting jittery again. And she went back to the doctors, and they said, oh yeah, your thyroid hormones are way too high. We got to cut your dose again. And after cutting it, they ended up cutting it down to nothing. And so they didn't like this. So they went and got the doctor who'd removed the thyroid. And he took the ultrasound wand, and he was like examining her with his ultrasound wand. And he dropped the wand and ran out of the room. And then he came back into the room a few minutes later looking at charts, and he said, you've regrown your thyroid. I took it out, and I've seen this. There are recorded cases of regrowing thyroids, but he said, not only is yours regrown, it's functioning perfectly. And so her deal with God worked. Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen credited it to this meditation that we're about to do. So I don't know. My belief and in fact, my intention here is that we all have healthy thyroids. And we don't need to go through that. And in fact, we're all brimming with health, and this meditation will help us manifest that health which is always ours. It's our birthright. It is our nature. So we're going to start with a heart, because love. So let's if you can touch your heart if you like. But let's inhale appreciation into our hearts. So let's allow ourselves to feel the appreciation flowing into our heart, manifesting in our heart, growing in our heart, filling our hearts. Our hearts are filled with appreciation. Appreciation of family, appreciation of our beautiful bodies, appreciation of this teaching. And we notice that this appreciation overflows from our heart and fills our entire bodies and radiates out. And we are in a room, we are surrounded by, we are feeling our radiant love radiating out, and love from everybody else radiating in through us. We are a flow of love. We are in an ocean of love. And now let's take our consciousness and move that consciousness with its love down through our feet into roots into the earth. And we know we are part of the earth. This is our nature. We are physical beings manifesting out of the earth. We are connected to the earth. We're connected to one another and all beings through the earth. This is our root. This is our nature. We can feel the power of God manifesting in us through our physical nature. And now we move our awareness up to our lower abdomen. And this is our spiritual womb. Men and women have a spiritual womb. This is where we manifest creativity. This is where the creative energy of the universe enters us. This is where we radiate the creative energy. This is where creativity is exploding within us and creating new and wonderful beings and things and manifesting creative, idyllic consciousness. And in this fountain of creation, we feel love. We love the creation. We see us only creating love, only creating beloved items, enriching the world. And now we move our consciousness to the upper part of the abdomen. And this is our purpose. This is our purpose, our self-confidence. This is where we know that we are in the right place at the right time. We are with the right group of people working on the right things. The thoughts that come to us are the right thoughts, and we are the right one to manifest them. We have been sent here to make the world a better place, and we are the right people to do that with our boon companions and our fellow friends. And now we move our consciousness up to our heart, where we feel the gratitude, we feel the love, we feel the appreciation. We appreciate all our chakras, and we move up from our hearts to our throats. And this is where we exhibit our connection. This is where our word comes from. We speak our word, and our word manifests in the world. We connect with others through speech. We connect with others through presence. We connect with others through spiritual presence. And moving from our connection chakra into our headspace, we find our headspace unusually quiet, unusually still. We sense the vastness of our mental space. We feel awe and wonder at the space where we're manifesting our thoughts. And then moving a little higher, we move out into the mystery and wonder of the universe, our spiritual chakra. And we feel love for our spiritual chakra. We feel love for our beautiful, still mind. We feel love for our connection, for our speaking, for our word. We feel love for our heart. We feel love for our purpose and our confidence and knowing that we are in the right place at the right time. We feel love for our infinite creativity, and we feel love for the earth and our beautiful physical bodies, which are manifesting ideal health. And whenever you're ready, you can return your attention to the room. And we can know this is what Shay did. Shay did her own version of it. But this is what Shay did several times a day when she was negotiating. She was trying to heal her thyroid, and somehow, in that case, she had to let go of it. But sometimes that's the best solution. It was in her case. But this is a meditation. If you ever have insomnia, if you ever feel like a cold's coming on, you can do this meditation. You can just love every part of your body. You can do it through the chakras. Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, did it an organ at a time. And it's the law of love. It's love and law. As you love your organs, as you love your chakras, as you love your aspects, as you love your bodies, the law will manifest that love, and will strengthen you and will increase your abilities, and you'll love it because we're all about the law of love. So that's what today is about, Labor Day. You know, we had in the favelas, we had the people doing a labor of love to create a food forest around their favelas and to use the energy of the food forest to get people to pour their love into the favelas and make them into beautiful places to live. And they're manifesting that around Brazil, and they're working on manifesting it in other countries so that the billion people who live in favelas can live in beautiful favelas inside their favela community instead of, you know, being seen as outcasts of society living in the garbage dumps at the edge of the city. They don't have to live like that. They can live, and the government's helping them. The government gave them wheelie bins. The government gives them electricity, you know, so they're not on their own. But by manifesting that consciousness, by working for themselves, everybody's more willing to help them because they can see that they're doing good things with the help. And the same with your bodies. You know, Shay, who grew herself a new thyroid, was working with the doctors and working with Joe Dispenza and inspired Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen and me because she was willing, she went all in. She knew that God was going to help, and she didn't know how, but she was willing to give up anything she needed to give up. She was willing to do anything she needed to do. And it worked. Her body manifested a healthy body. So let's say again together, I am grounded in a love that knows no condition. I am grounded in a love that knows no condition. So thank you so much. Now it's time for prayer cards. And on one side of your prayer card, these little yellow cards, on one side it has my prayer demonstration. And, you know, this is one reason we give prayer demonstrations like the favelas and Shay's story, is that the more you hear about these, the more you know they're real. And so that can then allow your 100% of yourself to be engaged in your prayer. And then your actual prayer, pray for other people, pray for yourself, prayer of gratitude, prayer of need. All the prayers go to our practitioner core who infuse it with that love of God, that love, law, power of prayer, and you'll see it manifest in wondrous and unexpected ways in your life.
just before you say something you can't take away. Take a breath, let it out, and try to think about what will love do now. Wondering if you should cross that line for good. Whatever you decide, ask yourself from inside, what would love do now? Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love, and in the end we know it's all that is real. Whether right or wrong doesn't matter as long as we let our heart decide. We take a look inside and ask what would love do now. Everything is either an act of love or a cry for love. That's why for love we try for love, and in the end that's all we know that's real. So when you're feeling down and suffering's around, hold thoughts of love in mind, and you'll be sure to find what love would do now. Feel gratitude until our hearts and minds are still, and from this quiet place the love and law creates what love would do now.
So, as Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth, we love that you're here to share with us in that. And this now is an invitation to participate in that circulation, to connect with abundance and generosity. Your participation and the support makes it possible. So let us take a moment to craft our financial gift to Genesis. If you're on Facebook, you can visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206-800-7595. So I just invite you to take a minute to craft your gift to Genesis, and you can place it in the envelope that we've left on your seats. And so now I'd like to invite you to take that gift you've crafted and your prayer card that you filled out and just hold it to your heart and join us in our offering blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all all that I give and all that I receive, and I am thankful. So now I'd like to invite Gideon to come forward with the basket and collect our prayer cards and our offering. And while we're doing that, please join Becca in singing Stepping Into the Flow.
I'm stepping into the flow.
With open hearts that we receive these gifts, knowing that the fruits that come forth do powerful works. We bless the givers, knowing that as we give, we receive tenfold. In deep gratitude, we give thanks, and so it is. Thank you all for joining us. Today, we invite you to join us afterward for food and for fellowship, which is brought to us by our care circle. It's everybody. It's a fifth Sunday, so we all together brought food to share. So please join us for fellowship and community after. And I invite you all now to stand and sing with us our closing song, I Release.